Shalom, 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 everybody. This is the man formerly known as Ivan, the Trinity of Water, now known as simply now, with another preparation for a purpose television show. Last show I did, y'all, my apologies. I see that it was my audio team, which is my hand right here. They didn't have the camera lined up appropriately, and right now it may not be. Hopefully you can see me, but if you can hear my voice and comprehend the words that were coming out of my mouth, that should be enough. Now, with that being said, I do want it to be as clear as possible. I know how sometimes the mind can travel like, hold on, he halfway in, halfway out. I get it. But listen, right now, I'm just putting out some content. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get it rolling. I'm a channel, and as it's coming down, I'm trying to deliver it to you. So the people that's ready and thirsty enough and hungry enough for some knowledge, hungry enough to, for some growth. And if you're not, you probably wouldn't be listening to anything like this. That's for you. This is for you. So you're not gonna let anything, simple like that, throw you off your game. So speaking of hungry though, speaking of thirsty, this show is about language. That's okay, it just came to me. I actually didn't have a title for the show. I was waiting for something to come to me. Okay, language, right? What language, phrases, like what is being said, but you may not really know what they're trying to say. Meaning, language. A guy by the name of Eric Thomas, some might be familiar, some may not. I'm from Detroit, he's from Detroit, made it big, motivational speaker. I'm somewhat of a motivational speaker. Seems like the right guy to bring up. So let's talk about him. One of his biggest quotes is, when you want success more than you want to breathe, then you will get it. Let me say it again. When you want success more than you want to breathe, then you will get it. So, if you're like me, if you just, when you own it, you just own it. And most people, when they own, but the exact reverse goes the same. When they're off, they're off. But when I own my game and I'm say I'm gonna do something and I mean it, I'm diving in. So when I put on those motivational videos, and I'm not saying he's the only one I've heard said, plethora of times, got t-shirts saying it, some other people may say it, but anyway, I'm taking it literal. So I'm like working, I'm getting ready for the show. I'm just going in. I'm doing these, like push up, boom. I'm going here, then I'm talking about on the ground though. I'm going boom, pushing, maybe 50, 100, hitting the wheel. I'm just going berserk. I'm going bonkers. And then I get tired. I'm like, no, I want it more than I breathe. No, I want this more. I want this more. I'm taking it literal, y'all. So the reason I'm bringing this up is the same guy. I listened to a lot of his motivational. Check this guy out. He will get you pumped. If you need some motivation, I'll tell you like a drill sergeant. But you can tell he got a big heart. But anyway, when I'm listening to him on one of his shows, one of his videos rather, he said he went to Michigan State. He said he didn't want to go to a smaller college because he needed the language that bigger schools had. He said when the teacher was teaching, when she was speaking, he would just be all in taking notes, and said everyone thought it was of just the lesson, but he said he was taking notes of the way she conjugated verbs, taking notes of the way she put sentences together. He was taking notes of verbiage, the language of the halves. But he said he didn't lose his own language, But he knew to get to where he needed to get to, he needed to learn their language, meaning he needed growth, right? So I heard it, but I didn't hear it, right? So a small example of that is this, the statement I said earlier. Now, I know I did go to a few colleges, didn't finish, but glory be to God, I have a very strong connection. So the language, I may not know it physically, but whether people believe in this or not, and if you're watching this, you probably do. You may not believe I can, but you probably do. Like I say, I'm a channel. So if it's in my purpose, I will get that delivered to me. And not only will I get it delivered to me, it will be made simple. Simplicity is the key, people. We make things too complex. We make things too complex. Harder, not smarter. For people into the life paths, I'm a life path 9. Most life path 9s have the gift of making very complex things simple. So why am I saying if you want to succeed more than you want to breathe, what's complex about that? Because that's not a literal statement. That's quantum physics. And let me explain what I'm talking about. When you think of breathe, you think of lack of air, right? And you may think of someone maybe holding your mouth or you're underwater. That's what most people think of. That's what I thought of. You're underwater. When they gave the example of it, that's what they gave. You know, it was a kid, he went to a guru put his head underwater. But they're not talking about those type of waves. Just as the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, however you want to, whatever makes you comfortable, taught parables, you have to look at both sides, right? So the waves that's being spoken of are energy waves. Remember, these are waves, vibrations. And every time, which thoughts are things, like I said, that's so prevalent now. Every time you put out a thought, every time you make an action, everything being literal energy. How much energy have you built up? Because you have waves, sound waves, all type of waves and vibrations coming at you that you can't smell, see, taste, and touch. That's why we fight not against flesh and blood. You will not get my type of messages on Sunday, not knocking them. Actually, most of them, I commend them for what they do because I couldn't do it. That's not my calling. But anyway, moving forward, all these unseen waves, vibrations, and everything, and you wonder why what? You're under a lot of what? Pressure. Another example that Eric Thomas gave was a diamond. You only know if a diamond is real when it's under extreme pressure. So he's saying if you want to be a diamond, you have to learn how to deal with extreme pressure. What happens when you're in water and you're down deep? The deeper you go, what? The more pressure that's being put and placed on you. So now I said I'm going to make that simple. Yes, I'm going to make it very simple because I'm going to correlate that to our lives. Every day, most of us go through a little to extreme pressure. The pressure of picking the kids up on time. The pressure of paying our bills. The pressure of having the money to take that woman out. The pressure of having the money maybe to go grocery shopping for the children. The pressure of being the single mother with the 2 kids. The pressure of being the man that has to pay his child support so he won't go to jail. The pressure of making it to 2 jobs, but you only have 1 car and you have a wife that works as well. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And what happens? It's hard for you to breathe, to be still. It's set up that way. And that's nothing to worry about. I always bring the good message. It's just now you're aware of it. Why are you aware of it? Because you're living it. Cousin used to ask me all the time, man, I always see you in that Bible. And now I know what you're going to tell me, how you know the Bible real. Why? Well, faith. And I told him, nah. I said, you want to know if something real? No, I'm sorry. He asked me, he said, now I have a friend, he's a Muslim, and he just as dedicated to his book as you are to yours. So who telling the truth? I said, we all have individual lives. If you lived it, and it correlates to something you live and just not read, then that's your truth. That's the only truth you really need to worry about. Yours. Your truth will lead you to all truth. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject, a whole nother time. But extreme pressure, y'all. And you probably lived it. And not only that, you notice in most neighborhoods of poverty, or even, like I said, I'm out of Michigan. It's a suburb called Southfield here, and it's just as bad as the inner city. The air is different. It's more dense. Have y'all ever went to just a real suburban area? I'm not talking about kind of suburban. I'm talking about really suburban area. It smells different. Now, other states, I don't know. You might have that party going on all the time. So that particular part may not be for you. But if you travel, you probably have noticed that it doesn't matter the season. That's certain that the air is different. In most suburban areas, very suburban areas, the air is lighter. What do you say on Friday? Taste the air, taste the air, smell the air. It's a lot of truth in jokes, y'all. The air is different. They breathe different. Now, I'm not, like I said, I can't speak for a millionaire or a billionaire, someone that's supremely well off, because I'm not yet. But I could just imagine, from all my studies and all my living, they don't have those worries. Yeah, they got problems. See, you want problems. You want them. That's what makes you who you are. Pressure busts pipes, or it makes diamonds. You want problems, but you don't want the problems of poverty. You don't want the problems of the hood. You don't want generational, passed down, traditional problems. You want the problems of my business's taxes not ready. You want the problems of we got to transfer this much money to this bank. You want the problems of, okay, we got to situate 100 men, and we only got 3 days to do it. Those are the type of problems you want. You always want, because we're problem solvers. That's what we're here to do, solve problems, teach others to do the same once we solve them. That's how we love ourselves and love one another. You love yourself by saying, I can no longer go through and live this way. I love myself too much. And then you overcome that problem, and then you pay in some way, whatever your gift is, a book, YouTube, whatever, and however you choose to do it with you and your God, you pass it on to help others. Love your neighbors. The basis of the gospel, simplicity. You get the commandments, the Kemetic commandments, the Hermetic commandments, the Golden Sea Scrolls. All the things that predated the Bible. It says because the Bible was 1611, it wasn't J's and all this. Simplicity. Love yourself. Love your neighbor. You love yourself by simply, it's unconditional. No matter what idea done or may do, I'm going to choose to unconditionally accept myself. Self-love is true love. Self-acceptance. And then that's how you accept others for just who they are. Not trying to change, not falling in love. That's whatever you come in, you can come out. You don't want to fall. That's why you're falling. You're falling for it. What do you feel? You falling for it. falling. So I suggest you get up and do something unconditional, which is much harder. It's easy to fall in love. That oxytocin, the love hormone, that they give to the women when they, giving birth. If you never heard of it, check it out. But it's the love hormone. Sometimes, just holding hot coffee with a significant other can bring it on. But that chemistry, that just, you meet and everything just clicking, and it seems like perfection, which doesn't exist in the way we say perfection is. And what happens? It does not last. How am I talking about this when I'm on a whole other subject? But hey, this is where I'm being led. So hey, for the people who need this, I'm about to keep going. That's why it doesn't last. It's not real. It's not real. Just like when we talked about a diamond. See, when something isn't real, because y'all not being real. Y'all fail. Y'all fail for it. Y'all fail for it. Y'all fail for one another. Y'all wasn't your true self. Y'all put on your best characters. But when when the roles ended and y'all got outstage, y'all went from playing those roles and real life hit, kids crying, bills due, looks didn't went away. The little cray-cray, the other one somewhat the same. Then what happens? Chaos. Then what happens? Normally 80% of the time. Then a woman, hey, that fun merry-go-round is over. You no longer excite me. I'm just saying, women, y'all, that's what y'all do. Y'all love excitement. That's why a lot of y'all jump man to man. I gotta be real, gotta be truthful. And I come at the guys too. I come at myself. So I gotta be truthful with y'all too. That's love. But yeah, jump man to man, excitement over, I'm filing for divorce. If I'm not mistaken, it may have changed, but last time I checked, women file for divorce 80% of the time. I would love to see the stats on who want to get married the most at the beginning. I would think it would probably be the woman. But what happens? You fell in love. It wasn't unconditional. See, that's why you have to make sure you got the right one when it's unconditional. In all aspects. All aspects of life. Spiritually, mentally, the right one. Purpose, whatever it is. Make sure you have the right one. You chose right to do this unconditionally, because unconditionally is forever. No matter rain, sleet, snow, no matter the conditions. But I gotta jump back to what y'all do have to get for doing. Jumping right back, hopefully you can stay with me though, if you're paying me with your attention. Jumping right back to what I was saying earlier, language, the language. Want to succeed whether you want to breathe. So yeah, you're going through problems, you're going through pressure. All types of pressure. And you can't breathe. It's like literally you can't not breathe. You can't get a break. You can't take a vacation, because if you do, you can't pay your bills on time. Just pressure, pressure, pressure. But after a while, what happens? When that pressure gets to a breaking point to where either what? You're going to bust. This is where suicide comes from. This is going to get a little real. This is where suicide comes from. Because I'm telling you, we have to get real, because there are going to be kids who say, well, God said I would never put more on you than you can bear. And God's word is, listen, I'm not a Christian. I'm a realist. And if something is real, it's real. And that goes for anybody. And all sides going to be mad at me. But I knew that when I started this journey, no problem. Because they are going to love me at the end. But anyway, so when you just fed up, it says, yeah, God word is now and forever. Then and forever. It's always the same. I wouldn't put more pressure on you. So God, I would not put more pressure on you than you can bear. But what about suicide? That was more than they can bear. Obviously, it wasn't. You don't have to believe in reincarnation, incarnation. I hear people arguing, oh, it's not a such thing as reincarnation, it's incarnation. That it's going back and forth. If you let's say if it is just incarnation and you redo it, what is it? Reincarnation. That's what I be talking about, y'all. Whether you believe in it or not, some people believe you do that until you get it right. It's energy. So let's go to science. If it's all energy, everything is being recycled. The circle of life, y'all. You know, I can go a lot of different aspects. But that's why God says, unless you getting it, your thoughts are not my thoughts, your ways are not my ways. So when things happen to good people, when suicide happens, they say, well, he said you never put one, you're not going to get it. But we have choices and free will. And if we don't let it break us, the only time we fail is when we don't get up. If we, like I said, we take ourselves out the game. But if we just wait a little longer, we just continue to persist and trust and just go for it. I guarantee a lot of those people, and yeah, of course this is a hypothesis, it's an educated guess, but it's not a fact. But I almost guarantee a lot of them people that committed suicide, so a lot of millionaires, but a lot of them, if they just would have gave it a chance, been still, learn, seek out the spiritual nature. See, that's what it was. It wasn't physical. When people say, "What a million? How you rich?" So I says, you those who think they are rich but are poor. Richness is spirit. Richness is your gift, your purpose. Richness is not paper. It's not fetid. It's not a means of exchange. Being rich is being rich in mind, being rich in body, being rich in health, being rich in spirit, being rich in gift. That makes you rich in God. That makes you rich in heaven. That's when you bring in your heaven down to earth and helping others do the same. That you have the courage to step out and be your genuine self. You've opened your gift, no matter your brokenness that you are, because when you go out, you're going to be broken. But the only way to get put back together is not from education and knowledge, it's from going out and doing it. It's from learning that sometimes the body is just not strong enough and it needs the spirit to pick it up. And the spirit needs the body to work, to go do the works and to do it in truth. And as I always say, thinking of truth not as perfection, but truth in your truth, not putting out. That's the problem. People smiling, I'm talking to myself, and going through pure hell. Can have, like I said, one time my psoriasis was just going nuts. And if you're not familiar with that, it can go nuts. And people, how you doing? I'm doing great. Yeah, you doing? Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, doing great. And I'm saying sometimes you have to put on that front. But sometimes you got to be like, I've seen better days. I've seen better days. If you know what, the person you're talking to might just have a solution. But if you don't ask, how can you receive? Do you know when you go do the works, it doesn't matter whether you know it or not. God knows you're going to be scared. But when you go and do the works, that's how you receive. That's how you really ask. So when people say, it says ask and you shall receive, I told you I'm going to make it simple for y'all. Ask and you shall receive. What's the love language of the universe? It's action. If it was just, hey, I need $10 million. And I need it right on this table in 10 seconds. I just asked. I'm sorry, can I have $10 million? Then I need it right here on this table in 10 minutes. See, and we not won't blame English for that. We're not blaming English. A lot of people say that's because English, it's a masculine language. Real language is feminine. It read right to left instead of left to right. But see, the God that I serve, For one, you study etymology. English actually, it correlated a lot of things for me. Reading the etymology dictionary correlated a lot of things for me. But like I said, the God that I serve, I can get it from that water bottle. I can get it from a plastic bag. I can get it from anywhere, any place, anytime. I don't know when it's coming, but I know it's coming when it's at the right time. So if you serving that type of God, then we on the same page. That's why I don't call myself a Christian. It's not a knock against Christians. If that makes you better, whatever makes you better. Just like, what do you stand for? Earlier, when we were talking about the language and things that people say, but if you don't know it, you don't have an eye to see it. When Malcolm X said, I'm sorry, it might have been Martin Luther King, one of them, said, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. That means not just standing and marching or standing for a certain cause. What are your standards? What do you stand for? That shows who you really are. And if you don't have no standards, if you just anything, I got to that point, y'all. That's what I'm saying. I lived this. And then what happened? I was falling for everything. Every woman that I attracted was a gold digger. Women that I was a little, not a player, but hey, I dated a couple, but I felt wasn't that attractive women and get my money, end up having a baby with one. That's a long story. Like I say, I'm not your per dang pastor. But anyway, I just got a story to tell. But anyway, moving along, even those women, got a little thick, got to look a little better, grew up a little bit, they want money. Women who used to chase me. I'm like, what is going on? I can't win from losing. Because I was accepting anything. And, you know, I'm going to tell you something. When they say women can smell out, what they call them, simps, and all this, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's not no simps. It's just people who, your upbringing, your personality, all those things haven't correlated for that person yet. They haven't found out who they are yet. So the people, simps and this and that, it's something in you, bro. It's still something in you. No matter where you are, you might have 1 million subscribers or whatever, but whenever you feel the need to put another person down, that you think it makes you look big, there's still something in you that you had. That's fact. It's scientifically proven. So when you go up against a real beast, a real warrior, real recognize real. And real men don't put down other men, even if they're operating in another form, another way. Because when we were a child, we ate like children. We did, dude. Stop fronting. We spoke as children. But what's the Bible say? When we became a man, we put away childish things. Put away childish things. Stop putting people down and lift them up. Even if they keep falling. Not talking about financially or whatever. It does, but you know, it doesn't cost you one dime to send out the vibrations of upliftment instead of hate. You know what you do when you send out stuff like that? That shows me right there you're not comprehending everything. You still have a lot of growing to do. And I'm not judging you either. You just got something you had. And a lot of people can fall for that front. Just like I said, when you hurt, they be, how you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm doing good. And most people, one time I said, I was proving a point. I told somebody, I said, watch this. Somebody asked me how I do, I'm going to say horrible. And they were like, good. I said, then I'd be listening. Walk past, how you doing? I'm doing horrible. Oh, that's good, great. Walk right past. Why is that? That's because, especially, and I'm not knocking, say, hey, everything has a purpose. And it's, you have free will on what you do with it. Technology can be great. Or it can ruin your mind depending on how you use it. Just like food. Food can heal you, food can kill you. So I'm not putting it on technology, but I'm saying a big cause of the confusion in the where people just walking like zombies, it's no communication. Not to mention you actually have cellular communication in the body. How your cells communicate. Your blood flowing, all that communication so your body can operate. That's why all these machines were built from the body. And if you're not eating the right things, if you're not taking the time to just have a conversation that's not on a site, or just get off the phone for a little bit. I'm not saying just make a major move because you're not going to stick with it, but just making some steps toward getting back to being humanitarians again, to even just talking, taking the time to really listen, to where you say, oh, hey, how are you doing? Standing there looking, waiting on the response. If it's just the cliche, oh, I'm doing great, okay, that's fine. But I'm still going to take the time to listen to you. Tell you, maybe have a 2-minute conversation. Because that's what we're getting away from. Because a lot of people are looking up to people that they have agendas. You don't know people's agenda. You know what? Everybody got an agenda. Everybody got an agenda. And everybody is being used. Now let me explain that. My agenda is to share my story. My agenda is to uplift people. My agenda is to shed light on certain things and aspects, on situations and ailments that I overcame or maybe going through to help others, and among other things. My agenda is to be, what my life path says, a humanitarian. My agenda is to do the works of God, even when I don't feel like it. My agenda is to grow every day and try to get you to do the same without influencing you, letting you make your own decisions. Because what I know is, you got what it takes. That's why I say I don't get with the whole preaching thing, but I don't knock it. Like I said, I couldn't do it, but it's all, we are all individually have a purpose, have a gift, and it's to you, through you, and then you get a few. What I mean is, never just stay stagnant in a congregation, just sitting there, learning from another person who has the same Father, one called Father, Mother, the same God that you have, that you can go to yourself. That's like me going to my brother, say, hey bro, you mind going to mom's and asking her, like, how can I make $50,000 a week? Like, you mind asking her for me? Well, I guess so, bro, but like, what they gonna be thinking? Like, for one, yeah, he might even do it, and it might even work sometimes. But what your mother gonna be thinking? What your father gonna be thinking? Like, why he don't come to me? Why didn't he come to me? Is he ashamed of me? Like, what, he forgot about me? Like, what's going on? I wanted him to come to me. I want our relationship to continue to develop. I heard one motivational speaker and one YouTuber, but the two of them who mentioned, they said, you know what, I'm giving you this, and it was something I really needed to hear, but it was so funny what came after. It said, but God, I'm feeling God telling me, but no, I wanted you to get this. I wanted you to come to me to get it. You shouldn't have to get it from me. Two of them, they said, you shouldn't listen to me after a certain point. You should not need motivation anymore. You should be the person out there motivating. Because you can get caught in that cycle as well, y'all. To where it's like, oh, I'm getting motivation. It's a beautiful thing. I'm trying to do better. And I'm sitting there just listening. But it comes a point you have to put that into action. It comes a point to where you have to start your beginning. It comes a point where you say, okay, now I need to be the motivator. I might not be as crisp as them. I might not have the same skills as them. I might not be able to touch as many people as them. But you do what you can with what you have. And you know what happens then? Even though I know this, I'm telling you, I have done it on several levels. But you know what? I ain't got it. But if you take care of what you have and show that you can take care of what you have, I guarantee you it's gonna grow. You want another car? Take care of the one you got. Really appreciate it. You want another house? Appreciate it. Appreciate right where you are. I'm so proud of myself. I'm not gonna lie. Proud of myself because I'm just now getting that. I'm just not saying, you know what, right where I am, I could stack. I'm in a great situation. At first, I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I've never been in a place where I wasn't, had a woman that not just go to, but that a woman that I at least loved deeply or had, it didn't even have to be unconditional, but man, like I was talking about in love, hey, even the fake form of it will work. I'm just being real. I'm like, I've never been at that point. But you know what else? I've never been at a point where I ain't got no drama. I have no distractions. Therefore, I have no excuses. And I haven't been making them. I'm going after my dreams, my micro dreams. I'm taking it one step at a time. Faith, work, together. Like this whole video, like I said, it's all scrambled. It's not perfect. It will not be edited. I'm gonna make a shirt that said death to editing. But you know what? I did it. In all my imperfection, I did it. And you know what else? It was meant to be exactly the way it was. And it's going to get to exactly who it needs to get to. My messages have no timestamp. It might be 10, 20, 30 years from now. But it will get to whoever, it needs to get to when it needs to get to them. And when we let go, I'm talking to myself, and realize all things work for the source. Job was not just a fairy tale where Satan, however form you want to think of Satan or devil, Beelzebub, whatever you want to call it, had to do what? Check with God first. Now I understand for a little deeper people that was a seventh heaven, but still, whatever, what did Satan have to do? And a big key to that story, a lot of people tell it wrong. The devil did not go to God and ask to say, well, could he get Job? No. That's why I love audio. God said, have you considered my servant Job? What? Let me say it again. God said, have you considered my servant Job? Why would God say that? You can't say because, see, the devil was searching the accuser of the brethren. God sees us as, that's why that story's so brilliant. God sees us for who we are, who we really are. He says he's a blameless man, good man. You mean to tell me that what happened when the devil said,